Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. We are finally here, 2021. It's going to be a very interesting year. A lot of people out of work, a lot of stimulus getting passed around, but also a lot of opportunity for investors. Much more potential than most realize. But I know us silver stackers are definitely more aware than most. How possible is $100 silver by the end of the year? Numerous banks and sources have predicted it. And if so, would the prices actually stay that high? That's what we're about to dive into. So make sure you're subscribed and let's go. So first and foremost, Happy New Year. Let's make this year full of success. I know things are still pretty crazy, but let's at least make it profitable. Now we have a very important video to go over today is looking at the supply and demand for 2021. We know supply and demand is the most influential thing determining the price of precious metals, so this video is really important. Here's the summary. Although gold and silver will finish 2020 below their highs for the year, gold is still headed for an annual return close to 25%. Silver around 45%. That is proof why I always say silver is gold on steroids. Silver is a more extreme version of gold. So, assuming economic conditions begin normalizing, and that's assuming, we would expect demand, especially from industrial users, to increase. And that's why I say silver is a win-win situation. Even if things start to recover next year, silver is going to benefit. If things get worse, silver is going to benefit. While mine supply is likely to increase versus 2020, so is consumer demand for refined precious metals products such as jewelry. And not only jewelry. That's one of the last things I would think about. It's interesting they use jewelry instead of like solar panels or 5G technology. In the next 3 or 5 years, I'm sure electric vehicles will be at the top of that list. But right now, 5G towers and solar panels, especially with Joe Biden and this whole green energy revolution trying to go green. So yes, mine supply will kick back up, but I don't think it's going to catch up with the extremely high demand. So the reason supply and demand fundamentals for precious metals markets got thrown into disarray this year, leading to heightened volatility, first on the downside, then on the upside. Although gold and silver will finish 2020 below their highs for the year, gold is still headed higher for an annual return close to 25%, silver 45%. Can hard assets investors look for to further price appreciation in 2021? Yes, but there are some near-term risks to the favorable long-term supply-demand outlook. Keyword, near-term. Near-term, things are going to be a roller coaster ride. We invest for the long term, though. Yes, there's going to be some plays to be made. That's why I always say we got to be on our toes. We got to be on our P's and Q's because there's going to be a lot of volatility. So if you're looking to buy, you got to buy at the right times. If you're looking to sell, you got to sell at the right times. That's why I always say you cannot blindly invest. You can't just buy or sell silver whenever you want. That's why you got to be subscribed to channels like mine that give you guys insight on a day-to-day basis. Because imagine if there's someone sitting at home, doesn't watch my videos, has no idea what's going on or why the markets are acting the way they are, and they just buy and sell silver when they feel. Do you think the chance of them actually making profits is high? No, that's gambling. We are investors. We understand investors do not gamble. We look at the situation, we look at the environment, we look at what's going to affect our assets or our investment, and we invest. We do not gamble. So the mining industry, like many others, faced unprecedented operational challenges in 2020 due to the pandemic. So many times around, and that's actually something I want to stop at for a second. Miners definitely, that industry definitely got thrown way out of left field. Think about it. Not only was there very limited, mines were shut down at first, but then after that, limited workers. And not only that as well, which it was probably thrown. Imagine trying to mine with very limited workers and all the precautions, but then distributing it. Think of how many borders and how many shipping delays and disruptions there was trying to transport all these precious metals around the globe. Many mines around the world were forced to scale back or suspend production in the first half of the year. Mexico and Peru, which accumulate 40% of the global silver production, got hit really hard. So a lot of silver wasn't getting to where it was needed to be. That's why we saw there was a silver eagle shortage in the beginning of the year. Royal Canadian Mint shut down for 2 weeks. Things were crazy. The mining industry is issuing optimistic guidance for 2021. Whether it fully recovers to before this pandemic or remains to be seen. While mine supply is likely to increase versus 2020, so is consumer demand. So, moral of the story is we are in a very tight spot. Very tight spot. And I don't see how it's going to get any better before it gets a lot worse. So, related wild card is the pandemic. So, we look at this virus as a whole, but there also is mutating strains. And I don't want to scare anyone, but the pandemic, a lot of people thought would be the worst of our problems moving into 2021. It would be like the stimulus and all that. But now we have a whole new ball game. We have a whole new problem to worry about. On top of stimulus, on top of what that's going to do to the dollar, on top of the silver supply and demand fundamentals getting all out of whack, on top of trying to catch up from 2020, now we have another problem. Not even knowing if the vaccine's going to work or not for this new strain. I mean, I don't want to scare anyone, but we have to be prepared for the worst. We hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's especially what investors do, especially investors, more than anyone else. So silver made a historic low in 2020. Will it make a new record in 2021? That's another scary thought. I mean, it's going to be great for us because we have an opportunity to take advantage of that, but for the long-term health of silver, I guess health is a weird word, but for the long-term, the bigger picture of silver, that could affect it. A massive surge of investment demand hit the bullion market this spring as panic gripped Wall Street and bargain hunters came out in droves. And this was not only a once-in-a-generation event, like they said, this is a once-in-the-last 5,000 years event. The gold to silver ratio was 130 to 1. Silver and gold have been compared in a ratio form for 5,000 years. Back in biblical Egyptian times, 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. The first ratio ever recorded was 2.5 to 1. Egyptians saw silver as magical because it could purify water. The way it responded with other elements and metals was like unlike any other metal. They thought silver was magic. So 2.5 to 1 was the first, and then it got to around 8 to 1, and then 16 to 1, stayed 16 to 1 until early 1900s, actually around 1930. FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1. FDR single-handedly just devalued silver. So this is something that we have to look at, though. 130 to 1 was the weakest silver's ever been compared to gold. Throughout the whole thousands of years that gold and silver have been compared. We witnessed history last year in March. Near the absolute bottom of the market on March 17th, we wrote, "Never has silver been as cheap to acquire in real terms as it is today. Never has the silver market traded so wildly disconnected from its fundamentals." The article suggested we had hit a peak fear, out of which a new uptrend in silver and a corresponding narrowing of the gold to silver ratio can be expected to extend for years. The very next day, March 18th, for the year, silver at $11.75 an ounce went on a spike to nearly $30 in August, 142% increase. A less dramatic 2021 may be in store. Even so, a global economic recovery and return of the semblance of normalcy would help stimulate demand for industrial metals as well as silver, platinum, and palladium. That's where gold will not benefit. That's why I say silver's a win-win situation. A major trend set to accelerate in the months ahead is the move away from fossil fuels and toward electrification. Now we get into solar panels. Photovoltaic cells, which silver is inside, is solar panels. Also, we have silver, the lithium batteries, and so many other things. As we advance digitally, silver's going to benefit. Solar power and better battery technologies are experiencing explosive growth. And with that growth comes a need for lots more copper, nickel, silver, strategic metals. In fact, solar panels are one of the fastest growing sources of silver demand. So like they said, jewelry in the beginning of this article, I was like, what? Like there's so many other things, but I guess jewelry is another one we can even add on the list. The grain programs of incoming Biden administration, coupled with ongoing fiscal and monetary stimulus being into the economy, could have unintended consequence of stimulating metals markets. And that's what I was saying, that we're in this situation that we have no choice though. Joe Biden's going green. That's what represented him. That was his staple as a candidate, right? That was his staple. So regardless of what it's going to do to the markets, regardless of what stimulus is going to do to the dollar, that's what they said they were going to do. That's how they were going to get elected. If any candidate wanted to win election, they had to throw out that $1 trillion stimulus word. Regardless of what it's going to do to the dollar, they know it's going to affect the dollar, but what are they going to do? Say, oh no, we can't give out the stimulus. We need to save the dollar. We need to save our financial. No, they're not going to win. Nobody's going for that. Nobody cares. They want money in their bank account now. Regardless of what the cost is to pay. There's going to be a cost to pay though, because we don't have trillions to throw out. We're actually trillions in debt. According to the Bloomberg Intelligence commodity strategist Mike McGlone, silver will head toward a new record high on improving fundamentals and gathering technical strength. By the way, I was driving on the highway the other day, and I saw this huge billboard, and it said the U.S. national debt, and it was a live counter, kind of like usdebtclock.org. There was a live counter of the national debt, and it was a huge billboard. It said 27 trillion, blah, 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 billion, blah, 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 $1 million. Most people, or even I, should have looked at that billboard and been worried and been sad. I looked at it and smiled. I honestly smiled. And I took a picture of it, and I even posted it on this channel in the community post. See, I think I was smiling because I was happy that someone put time and money and energy to expose our financial system, to show people, look, we are in debt. America isn't all rich and glamorous like people think. That made me happy to see that not just us stackers, not just us that go against the grain, are still trying to show people what's really happening behind the scenes. I loved that. Silver investors should expect some volatility and perhaps some surprises on the way to an eventual new high in dollar terms above $50 an ounce. It may happen next year, maybe a bit longer. Having a long-term horizon is crucial to being able to participate in the full magnitude of a precious metals bull market. A new nominal high in silver will just be the first major milestone in a bull market that could go up many multiples from here, being expensive or overvalued in real terms. So what they're saying is a new normal is going to be here, and that's definitely true. A new nominal high, which will be above $50, because silver was $50 in 1980 and 2011. So $50 silver will be the first mark. Once it gets past that, kind of like Bitcoin is right now, Bitcoin broke past $20,000. Now Bitcoin's at $32,000. So once silver breaks past that $50 level, it's probably going to shoot up to near 70, 100, and that's the new normal. But like I said in the beginning, how long will that last? Will that stay? If it happens in just 2021, it won't last. That's too quick. That'll be overbought territory. If we want, and just like Bitcoin, when it hit $18,000 in like a couple months span, it crashed right after. That was too fast. So, like Bitcoin now, it has gradually got there over the last couple of years. We need silver, if it wants to stay at $100, to gradually go up. There has to be dips, there has to be corrections, there has to be sell-offs that's actually healthy. If right now, in January, silver shot up to $100 by, let's say, like July, that would not last. It would crash so hard by the end of the year that people would probably all sell. It would be a dead market. If, let's say, in 2022, 23, it gradually is approaching to that $70, $80, $90 range, it'll probably that will be a new normal for silver. Unless there's some unknown variable, like this virus gets way out of whack and something happens, unless some unknown variable, which we always have to incorporate, because we don't know, there could be something crazy ahead. And as things are right now, if everything keeps going as it is, then I don't see $100 silver being too realistic to stay in 2021. It could happen, but I don't think it would stay there. I could be completely wrong. Just like in 2019, nobody knew there was going to be a pandemic, so all the predictions, all the forecasts were way off. Just like right now, I could be way off, but I'm looking at this realistically from a statistical and from a standpoint as is. But unknown variables always have to be incorporated. I would love to know what you guys think about this. I would love to hear your input, your insight. I've learned a lot from you guys, and that's why I started this channel 5 years ago, was because I was a new stacker and I wanted you guys to help me. I wanted to document my journey, and you guys have definitely helped me, and now I'm giving back. I'm sharing all the information I've learned over the years to you guys, and hopefully one day you guys will start a channel or make a blog or comment on another person's video and help some other new stacker, right? We always give back. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe. On the road to 40,000 subscribers, I've been buying a lot of silver lately. I just bought probably close to $1,500 worth of silver, and not exaggerating. So I'm excited about silver right now. I'm taking advantage. I'm buying specific kinds, right? I'm not just going crazy as silver's high. There is strategic buying that I'm doing. I don't want you guys to just think I'm just buying silver recklessly. There's definitely strategy here. So stay tuned. Maybe do some unboxings. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some fun stuff. 2021 is going to be a great year for this channel. I'm looking to expand, to just make everything better, more audience engaging, and the best content I possibly can. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.